Managers also. Chelsea, I told you in the recent days, Chelsea are expected to decide before the World Cup. For sure, it's going to be a matter of days before Chelsea decide. Days, maybe could be weeks, but it's going to be soon. Chelsea will decide their new manager soon. A final decision is expected very soon on Xabi Alonso. Chelsea, I can tell you this, had a direct meeting with Xabi Alonso. Not just with his representatives, but also with Xabi Alonso himself. So there's been a conversation. Chelsea spoke to several managers, Andoni Raiola, Oliver Glasner, Marco Silva. They had some conversations with their entourage, the agents, the representatives, the lawyers of these managers. But with Xabi Alonso, Chelsea had very productive talks. Now, a final decision is expected soon. Today is FA Cup final day, and so we wait for that. But after that, any moment could be good for Chelsea to go close and seal the deal for their next head coach. With Xabi Alonso opening doors to Premier League chapter few days ago, and now Chelsea prepared to make a final decision on who they want as their new manager. So I will also keep you posted on that. Many of you asking me if Liverpool arrived at this stage for Xabi Alonso. As of today, Friday night, Saturday morning, Liverpool have not activated the option Xabi Alonso. Even after another disappointing defeat for Liverpool against Aston Villa, another poor performance, 20 defeats for Liverpool this season, Liverpool, as of today, have not reached out to Xabi Alonso. As I always told you, if they do so, I will be here to tell you, and we will tell you what's going to happen. But as of today, Liverpool are yet to reach out to Xabi Alonso. So that remains the situation. Obviously, Champions League football is really important. Don't forget there will be an end of the season review at Liverpool. Don't forget that. Champions League football is absolutely crucial. But at the moment, the situation with Arne Slot remains absolutely the same. Just to finish on managers, guys.
One manager that maybe some of the Liverpool fans might have been looking at to maybe replace Arne Slot would have been Xabi Alonso, your old teammate. I mean, would Chelsea fans feel like they've got one over on Liverpool fans in that aspect, taking him?
Listen, maybe. Who knows? We'll see if Xabi gets the job. If he does really well next season, if he does get the job, I will probably want Chelsea to win a little bit more than I normally do, with him being a former teammate. But listen, that may be the case next season, but who knows? Liverpool may have pulled a masterstroke by not listening to the pressure of the supporters and stuck with the manager who's already won the Premier League.
On Chelsea's manager search, what is the latest?
I'll tell you actually what happened this week is on Sunday we got some information that Chelsea were going to announce on Monday that Xabi Alonso was going to be their new manager. So obviously we checked this out, looked into it, and the sort of information we were getting back from Chelsea was that was not the case at all. They weren't that far down the road. It was still an open process. But then during this whole week, there's been lots of stories coming out about how Xabi Alonso is the person with the best CV. He's the favourite. He's leading the race. So I'm not quite sure what is going on at Chelsea, whether he is actually going to be the next manager and they were just trying to manage the media because they didn't want it coming out before the FA Cup final and they're waiting until the final's out of the way before announcing it perhaps next week. Or is there something more really going on in the background where he's not convinced that he wants the Chelsea job,
that's what
or he's got other options as well? Yeah, it depends how you look at it.
Well, I mean this in the best way possible. Is Chelsea the best option for Alonso at this time, considering the amount of movement that's going to be potentially happening in other clubs, do you think?
I think he would have better options. I think Chelsea are obviously a massive football club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, but they are going through a tough time. Just look at the Premier League table. And if he was to speak to some of the other managers, the really sort of elite level managers who had done the job before him, like Thomas Tuchel, like Enzo Maresca, like Maurizio Pochettino, I think they would say to him, you know, be careful. Think twice about what you're getting yourself into. Because, you know, there's quite a lot of politics at play at Chelsea, and it's going to be perhaps more difficult than you think. But having said that, I think most managers, if they're offered the Chelsea job, it's a difficult job to turn down. But I think he'd have to think hard about it. For instance, you know, there's been talk that a Liverpool job potentially could come up. Maybe not this summer, maybe next summer. Although Arne Slot came out yesterday and he was very, very clear that he's been given reason to believe that he's staying at Liverpool.
But do you think with Xabi, I mean, Jules, I'll ask you this. I mean, if he's looking at that Chelsea job or in talks about that Chelsea job, sure, he probably will know what he's walking into given his time at Real Madrid. I mean, how did that kind of play out for him?
Sure. No, for sure. But he will lose at least one key player because I think Chelsea will have to sell, especially if there's no European football. So if you lose Enzo Fernandez, then your rebuilding job is slightly different. I think he likes working with young players, for sure. We saw that by Leverkusen more than in Real Madrid, which was a very different environment. If there's no Europe, it's only one game per week, which I think might help him to settle in with the club, to put his philosophy together, more time to work with the players. We talked about Michael Carrick earlier on the show. That was perfect for him to have that kind of scenario. It would be good, I think, for Xabi Alonso not to play every 3 days and not really have the time to put his philosophy together. So I think that there's the pros and the cons. I can see that for Chelsea, for me, is an outstanding candidate. There's no doubt. If they can pull this one out, well done to them. Yeah. For him, I agree with you and Xavi. I think there's